Hey guys, in this video, I'll be going over how to get the true ending in your first playthrough, which is related to the questions Caruleum asks Mitsuba throughout the game. I'll only be going over the specific questions he asks, what stages these are on, and which answers to choose if you want the true ending. I'll also put the answers down in the description below if that's all you're here for. And let's get started. Caruleum's first question is in the stage A Towering Light, interrupting the fight you're currently in. After some dialogue, he poses a question for Mitsuba. The question is, a meteor is approaching a planet inhabited by 1 billion people. A direct hit would render the planet completely uninhabitable, leading to 1 billion deaths. You see the meteor coming and have the capability to alter its course. Choose to do so, however, and the meteor's new course will send it hurtling into a colony housing 100 million people. What do? Lelouch recognizes this as the trolley problem, a thought experiment which measures the way a person determines moral outcomes. Each of the questions Caruleum asks Mitsuba are similar to this, posing some kind of moral dilemma to her. Choosing to let the billion die will tip the scales to the left. Murdering the 100 million will tip it to the right. For the true ending, you need at least 3 tips to the left. 3 tips to the right will give you the normal ending. So choose letting the billion die. I'll let you see how the rest of the conversations play out on your own. The next stage he appears in is in a Purified Land, again interrupting the battle you're currently in. The question is, a number of immigrants equal to the number of people currently on your planet comes to your world. You are the leader of your world, and you have the power to eliminate these immigrants. Furthermore, if you refuse to allow them to immigrate, they will invade by force. Now what do? Do you annihilate the immigrants in a first strike to protect your own citizens? Lelouch recognizes this as the plank of Carnitas, another ethics question that questions whether you can be held responsible for harming others if it is for the sake of guarding yourself. Taking the life of others will tip the scales to the left, allowing the migration will tip it to the right, so choose take the life of others. The next stage he shows up in depends on the route you took at the beginning of the game. Preordained Destiny if you took the Earth route, Where It All Leads if you took the Space route. Either way, the question is the same. The question is, I have the technology to make perfect clones. This technology is capable of instantly creating atom-perfect clones of a person. All qualities, abilities, and memories of the original are, of course, present in any clone created. So let us say I've killed Edge, or Az, for example, and created a perfect human copy of them. The Edge, or Az, I've created has all the abilities, qualities, and memories of the original. Now Mitsuba, could you treat this copy of them as if they were the original? Sadly, no Lelouch this time to chime in. Treating the clone as different will tip the scales to the left. Treating the clone the same will tip them to the right, so choose to treat the clone different. The next stage is a world in turmoil, once again interrupting the fight. The question is, a colony ship is traveling through space when its inhabitants are struck by a mysterious virus that causes their blood to break down. The people aboard the ship decide, as an emergency measure, to divide the blood of a number of randomly selected individuals across the crew. It is at this moment that a problem arises. A number of individuals argue that as essential members of the crew, they should be made exempt from the selection. These elite members are to hold leadership positions upon the ship's arrival at the colony planet. This is hardly a meaningful distinction if the ship never reaches its goal. However, without these key members, those running the new colony will surely encounter great hardship. What do? Lelouch likens it to a survival lottery, and says it must be some kind of ethical thought experiment. Make key crew members exempt will tip the scales to the left. Make no one exempt will tip them to the right. So choose to make key members exempt. The fifth and final question is in the stage Arbitrator. The question is, let us assume you are a simple beast, only able to judge things by your physical senses. Your owner has left food out for you. However, this food is different from what is usually given to you. Your instincts suggest that this food could be poisoned. However, 10 days later, your owner has not changed the food for anything else. If you do not choose to eat the food, you will starve. However, it could be poisoned, and your owner might change the food tomorrow. Would you eat the food despite the fear of poison, or would you wait for your owner to come? Take fate in my own hands will tip the scales to the left. Risk starvation and wait for my owner will tip them to the right. So pick take fate into my own hands. This is the last question he will ask. If you have at least 3 questions tipping the scales to the left, you will take the true ending route. If you have 3 questions tipping the scales to the right, you will take the normal route. On New Game Plus, on the stage Judgment, Caruleum will ask the Magister what his conclusion is instead. The Quaestors must repair their faults will give you the normal ending, and the Earthlings must be eliminated by the Quaestors will give you the true ending. You will have these options no matter how you answer the questions during New Game Plus. The last 2 stages for the true ending are Facing Death and Truth. Having the scales tipped to the left will have you recruit Caruleum. and this is required to get the last 2 stages for the true ending. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. The next video will be the start of a recurring series on the channel that I'll keep secret for now. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.